Over to the hate list, headlined by Jordan Addison. The Bears are allowing the fewest fantasy points per game to wide receivers this year, Jay, and Addison just hasn't been consistent anyway.
He hasn't been consistent, and I think the thing is that the Bears, their run defense has just collapsed recently. So that is the issue as well, is that it's not just that they have a strong secondary, that is the strength of the defense, but now teams are just really leaning on the run, so just not a favorable matchup for Addison. And you expect too, Matthew, that TJ Hawkinson, as he gets more and more healthy, he is going to take more and more of that offense.
Bears tied for the third fewest touchdowns allowed to wide receivers this season. They've just been good across the board, and you figure if anyone on the Vikings is going to eat, it'll be Justin Jefferson. So yeah, outside my top 35 for the week, Jordan Addison is, even in a week in which 6 teams are on a bye. Tank Dell also makes the hate list, guys. He's going up against Tennessee. Titans' second fewest yards per game to wide receivers. And in games this year in which Nico Collins is in the lineup, he's been under 10 points in 4 out of 5 games. He's averaging under 8 points per game. We just haven't seen the Tank Dell from last year emerge in any kind of consistent way. Don't love the matchup against Tennessee.
Do you think C.J. Stroud turned the corner at all with Nico Collins back? Seemed like their protection was a little bit better.
It was. I think he will. I just think when he has that number 1 alpha wide receiver, he's somebody that will give him chances even when he's not fully open, and Nico Collins capitalizes on that. And I'm curious. I agree with you. I would be out on Tank Dell this week. Tennessee's defense, especially against the pass, has been great this year. But I do wonder if it's going to open up some more space for Tank Dell the final few weeks of the fantasy season. Stephon Diggs out of the picture, the target share becomes a little bit more narrow. Maybe Tank Dell gets going, not this week, but in future
and if
weeks.
Stroud gets more confidence as well. He played a little bit better on Monday night against the Cowboys than he did against the Lions. And so,
they're just so Joe Mixon heavy.
I know.
And
why would you go away from that
right?
as long as it works?
Indeed. I mean, this is...
The grape slappers are loving life.
Grape slappers, yeah. The thing is with this matchup, this is a tough run defense with Sweat and Simmons in the middle there, but I do think that, you just take a step back. Before the season, if we said, all right, Stephon Diggs is completely out of the picture, where's Tank Dell? What kind of season is he going to have from this point on? You think he was a top 20 wide receiver?
Easy.
For sure.
Yeah. That's where he would have been drafted.
I still think you have to regress a little bit to that just because we haven't seen just the offense of just him and just Nico Collins almost at all outside of last week where Nico is still getting back up to speed.
Yeah.
Our final one here, guys, Mark Andrews. He's got a target share under 12% this season when Isaiah Likely is active. Matthew, they got the Chargers on deck who, under Jesse Minter and obviously Harbaugh, this defense has really turned the corner.
Yeah, the Chargers are the only team in the NFL to not allow a touchdown to a tight end this season. Andrews is the fantasy production you've gotten out of Mark Andrews this year has mostly been touchdown dependent. In a game in which he did not score a touchdown, Mark Andrews has never had double-digit fantasy points this year, right? It's always been single-digit fantasy points if he doesn't score a touchdown. So you're just like, what are the odds of him getting in the end zone against a team that has yet to give up a touchdown to an opposing tight end this entire year? By the way, since week 3, only 2 games with a route participation above 60%. They use Andrews, they use Likely, they use Charlie Kolar out there as well, their third tight end. It's just, we've at least seen signs of life from Mark Andrews, but doesn't feel great this week. He's my tight end 15.
Yep. Connor, the Chargers defense, I think there was this perception that they had feasted on the likes of Bryce Young and Spencer Rattler, and they hadn't had too many tests, and then they play Burrow, and Burrow goes off, but he's Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase, and they kind of just, go off against everyone. Do you change your opinion much about the Chargers defense after that game?
No, it probably falls somewhere in the middle, right? Maybe they're not a top 3 to 5 unit like some of their matchups where they were feasting, but Burrow's going to do that to I don't think there's a defense in the league that Burrow can't do that to.
Yeah.
So they're probably just more above average than great. And they don't have the players yet.
Yep.
That's the key. It's all scheme.
That's a really good point in that I'm not sure everyone fully absorbs this, but statistically, when you have a great offense in the NFL go up against a great defense, the great offense wins. That's just how it works. And that's why, for years, Patrick Mahomes, fantasy-wise, you don't care who he's playing because he's just defense agnostic. He's just too good. I think Burrow is at that level. So Chargers defense, they got cooked a little bit, and they're probably going to get cooked a little bit against the Ravens too because the Ravens are that good too. But I think that is certainly a solidly above average unit.
Hey, it's Matthew Berry from NBCSports.com and RotoWorld.com, and I want to thank you so much for watching whatever it is you just watched, or if nothing else, being too lazy to click out of the autoplay after this video started, after whatever it is you actually wanted to watch finished. But now that you're here, I'd like to take a moment here to ask you respectfully now, okay? I'm asking you respectfully to subscribe to the NFL on NBC YouTube channel. You'll get the latest RotoWorld fantasy news headlines, all sorts of great shows, including my own Fantasy Football Happy Hour. So go subscribe now. Again, I'm asking respectfully.